When's the L5P getting done? Why isn't it done yet? This is not a typical bolt-on lift. This is not your rough country lift. It's a one-off. This is part 2 on the L5P build. In the last video, we got everything cut apart, the front axle somewhat situated, and the rear all pulled apart. And so far we have wheelbase set. I stretched the wheelbase a little bit to keep the 42 from getting into the firewall. And we have shocks situated, steering, track bar, sway bar, front and rear 4-link laid out and ready to go. So for our shock package, we have a 2.0 by 10 Terraflex Falcon Series shock paired with a 2.5 by 10 Fox coilover with the correct spring rates for the GMC SAS builds. So far, about 5 inches of shock shaft shown at ride height, so we have the full 10 inches to travel. And we have the high steer knuckle that I machined myself. Reed Racing does make a kit for that, but I opted to make my own for this situation. It would have been better with a double shear high steer arm that I made myself out of stainless and carbon steel, drilled and tapped, countersunk with Allen head bolts. Center link, made that to fit. It's all, the steering itself is 2-inch 120 wall. 4-link and track bar is 2.5-inch quarter wall to make sure everything's overbuilt and we don't have any problems with deflection and or cracking. Alright, so going on to the other side, we have the frame side track bar mount, pitman arm, and steering box brace. Track bar mount is on. It is going to be welded to the frame. I didn't really want to bolt it on, and it's tied into the motor mount, so we shouldn't have any problems with it trying to rip off or bend anything. And then double shear pitman arm. It's around like 6-inch drop, so we have really good angles, so we should have next to no bump steer or any of that. With the WFO steering box brace for the GM trucks, paired with that to make sure everything stays where it should. So onto the interior. As some of you may know, this truck was a base model, and it had carpet. Actually, no, it had cloth seats with rubber floors. Stripped the whole thing. We have what I believe to be LTZ seats, center console, and then carpet out of a high country. So it has a whole leather interior. It came with the big screen, so you don't have to worry about that, and the dash is already leather. So now onto the rear suspension, going from the center cradle back. On the center cradle, it's not going to be a traditional 4-link in the rear with a panhard bar. We're doing triangulated 4-link, and there's only going to be one pivot on the rear, and that'd be for the upper links. And most people, when they do the triangulated 4-link on these trucks, they have it triangulate on the pumpkin, which is traditionally how most guys do it. But for clearance wise, with the fuel cell, frame rails, and all that, I opted to do a reverse triangulated. So instead of it triangulating up there on the upper links, we have our triangulation on the lower, and it triangulates on the frame side, not the axle side. So it's backwards and upside down, but we gain clearance and cleaner travel cycling through. The rear links are going to be 2.5-inch quarter wall. Can be set up somewhat like an any level. It's about the same 4-link setup, but instead of the hydraulic cantilever, we're doing semi bags. Should have about 8 to 10 inches of travel on the rear. We're gonna have 22 inches at the aired all the way up, all the way down. We should be about 10 to 12 inches of lift, and it will be bolt onto the frame, bolt on at the pickup points for the hitch, the fifth wheel hitch. So we shouldn't have any problems with structural rigidity with that. Weld on frame trusses. Shocks should be about right there. So for our air management system, because we are running full air ride in the rear, we have a 8-gallon tank fed by 2 compressors, and we're gonna have 1 outlet going from the 3/4 to 1/2 inch AN fittings, full hose fittings, to our air valves. Most of the time, everyone runs 2 of these per corner. So in the perfect world, we would have 1 of these for driver, 1 for passenger. But because I want them to move at the same time and get the same amount of air pressure, I'm running 1 of these for both. So going from the tank, we're going to go to our fill and our release valve. And then we'll go put it from a T-fitting out to our driver and passenger bag, which are 1/2 inch airline, because we are going from 1/2 inch T-fitting to 1/2 inch. Usually go from 1/2 inch to 2/4 lines, but I want to air out pretty quick, so I'm staying with the full 1/2 inch line to make sure it drops down pretty quick.